Okay, now I think I did it right. I'm really messed up. No, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I'm not used to being in my room, not my kitchen. I'm, can you hear me though? I'm here, I promise. This is the stream we're gonna stick with, I promise. Anyways, guys, what I was saying, no, Monica, I'm here. Am I here? I don't know where I am. Wherever I am is where we'll be. Anyways, what I was saying is that I'm not going to be on camera because it's more stressful for me and I'm just trying to recover from some sort of unknown rib type injury. So it hurts to laugh and dance, which I do much in my kitchen. So, anyways, I apologize for starting two streams by accident because I'm bad at this sometimes. However, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to be watching detention dockets this evening, which we normally do. These are old hearings held in 2021 in the 323rd District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. And I'm confused now, Jody. Where are we? Oh no. Jesse, can you hear me? And Chris, can you hear me? And Monica, can you hear me? Am I in the wrong stream? Okay. Do you see something changing on the screen right now? Like I added, well, if you can hear me, obviously you can see. I don't know. I cannot hear you, but I can see you, Rachel. Mommy. Um, okay, well, we have 15 viewers, so I think this is back up to the right stream. I apologize. I literally. Uh-oh. Are we in two places though? This is confusing. Yeah, the screen is paused. Now I press play on it. We got lost in the Matrix, guys. We literally did get lost in the Matrix. This is where we're staying tonight. So, anyways, give me one sec to make sure the stream settings are proper. Um, so I think I was saying this is the 323rd District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. These are juvenile dockets. They are detention hearings. The standard is a little bit different than what we normally hear of in the adult court system, if that's something that you normally watch. So keep an eye out for those differences. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We like to help. Hi, Natalie. Thank you so much for becoming a line cook. Thank you for reminding me to remind everybody that how we clock into work here. Jokes, that's what channel members are called. Um, we clock in by hitting the like or the dislike, and that's how we take attendance. So please make sure we get your attendance recorded. Um, and thank you and welcome to all of our new channel members and all our old ones. Um, let's remember, please, no ceiling fans, no domesticated animals. We think that that means undomesticated animals, criminals. Animals are okay. Oh, here comes Judge Kim. Report for duty. Whoop. I just checked. That's him. Judge Kimmy Kim likes to make us wait. You know, if I click it, he will talk.
All right, this is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Thursday, March 11th, 2021. We are not in, well, we're not in compliance, or there's no longer a Supreme Court order related to coronavirus. However, we're conducting these proceedings via Zoom for the time being until we have a permanent plan. Let everyone know, because I am closing the courtroom due to COVID reasons for detention hearings. We are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public has meaningful access to what occurs inside a courtroom. And so no portion of this broadcast may be recorded or published. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt of court, up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. We do expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. This is still a court proceeding. So if you are here, you're expected to have your camera on without a bright light behind your head or moving backgrounds. So if you're an officer of the court, you are excused from this. I'm looking now, Julie O'Brien, I think your camera needs to be on. And Mr. Eduardo, you need to be on camera. Arnecki, you're with the department, you're an officer of the court, you can turn your camera off if you feel appropriate. So Eduardo, and this is your last warning to turn your camera on. All right, Eduardo. And Julie, I didn't realize it was you. You can turn your camera. Next time, Lori and Julie, if you want to put OCOK in front of your name, then I won't call you out. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with Misael Vidalis. All right, Mr. Vidalis, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. I've decided whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And we have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Morning, Your Honor.
So, Eduardo, look, I don't want to see your hand. We don't want to see your warehouse. You need to turn your microphone off. You need to stop moving around. What's going on today? Okay. All right, Misael. All right, you're 14 years old. You've never been here before. Arlington PD brought you in for an assault case. Back in December, I guess on November 4th, about 6:20, police were dispatched to a drug call. Mom said her son got rid of the weed when she saw smoke and smelled weed inside her house. Police talked to you. You said you did smoke earlier. Your 19-year-old sister said about 3 weeks ago you hit a 15-year-old sister multiple times when they were driving to the store. Became angry after an argument, started hitting her with a fist and pulled her hair. You admitted to hitting her, and you said you were mad because they did not want him to go to the store with them. So I guess we let you go. And then Arlington brought you in for, let's see, they're saying in December, 3 or 4 teenagers, all of whom attend Workman Junior High. Macy's Loss Prevention said all 3, including myself, went to fitting room with merchandise, empty backpack, and when they left, the backpack was full. They left through one of the interior mall exits. 2 Arlington officers in uniform told them to stop. They took off running. 3 were arrested, charged with theft and evading arrest. So Judge Porter released an electronic monitor. And then on March 9th, it turns out that you cut off your monitor and you left home through the window. And so we give you a drug test, you're testing weed. All right, Ms. L. So these are all misdemeanor offenses for assault, theft of property, evading arrest. But if you're going to cut off your monitor and run and smoke weed while you have a case pending, then I can't trust you in the community. I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you, Ms. Hale. Mom, thank you for cooperating. We'll get to the bottom of this. These are not serious offenses, but Miss Ailes engaging in serious behavior that's leading down the wrong path. And so looking forward to the court and parents, when we work together, hopefully we can help them. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mom. All right, Kevion Mayberry. Weird being in here while I'm doing this. It's just like Zoom. All right, Kevion, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a kid's brought to our facility, see a judge within 2 days. I decide whether to keep you here, release you if I keep you. You'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. So, Kevin, you've never been here before. Let's see, yesterday, Fort Worth PD brought you in. They're saying that SRO at Leonard Middle School was notified of disturbance, found administrators leading you away from the victim and fellow student. Counselor told the police that she had been speaking with a parent and then was told about a fight. The counselor said that she saw Kevion approach Smith and began punching him. The victim fell into a chair, and then evidently you continued to strike him. Counselor tried to pull you off the victim by pulling your jacket, but then you swung at the other student, and while you're doing so, hit the counselor several times, causing her pain in the chest and shoulder. Counselor confirmed the pain, and they watched security footage and showed the witness victim counselor statement. They confirmed it. The victim was observed with a swollen left eye and bloody nose. He said that Kevion approached him, started talking smack, and began hitting him. All right, Kevion, I'm going to say if it was just hitting another kid, this would end up being an assault, a misdemeanor offense. You get probation, we try and help you. But when the counselor gets involved, that's assaulting a public servant. You can be committed to the Texas Juvenile Justice Department for this. Just so you know, it's a felony level offense. And so we have parents here.
Yes.
All right, so are you mom and dad or mom and stepdad, brother?
Mom and dad.
Mom and dad, are you all still together or co-parenting?
Co-parenting.
Okay, good. I makes me really happy to see both of you here. All right, so what is really going on with Kevion?
At the school?
Well, yeah, I mean, just in his life. You know, it's not normal for a kid to I mean, it's one thing to get in a fight. It's another thing to get in such a fight that you can't stop when the teacher gets involved or counselor gets involved.
Well, I mean, there's nothing going on at home, but he has been through some things that I understand his anger sometimes and his issues. Well, it's kind of personal, but I understand where he's coming from at the time. But there's nothing going on at home.
Well, I mean, something's going on in Kevion's life, right, where this is not normal behavior.
Right.
I'm trying to get to the root of this. And Mom, you know him better than anybody else.
Right.
So I'm just trying to figure this out.
He's probably...
I'm trying to decide whether to release him or keep him. If I keep him, it's only because he's either a danger to himself, danger to the others, or won't return to court. All right? He's never been here before. What are his grades like at school?
Well, they're not so good right now.
All right, what's not so good? What are his grades like at school?
He's failing.
No. How many classes is he failing?
All of them, they said.
All right, so what are we doing to address that?
He's doing online school, and he's supposed to do, and he's doing makeup work.
Can you lower your mask? I'm really having a hard time understanding you. Thank you. All right, so he's going to online school and what?
He's doing online class, online assessments, and he's doing makeup work.
Wait, so if he's doing online school, why was he in school yesterday?
He got to go back to school. That's his first day going back to school from being expelled.
So he's not going to online school?
Not anymore. He had it for...
He was suspended. He was suspended for 3 days. I went and got him last week.
Why was he suspended?
He was suspended for dress code purposes.
Well, okay, hold on, Dad. He was suspended for 3 days for dress code.
Yes, sir.
What was the dress code violation?
He had his jeans were ripped jeans. They were up to his thighs.
So a school was suspended kid for 3 days for ripped jeans.
Yes, sir.
Yes, at that school. Yes.
Mr. Lewis, does that sound from your experience?
That is surprising to hear. I mean, I can't contradict it, but I I would be again. I don't really. I've never heard of a 3-day suspension for in school suspension, maybe, but out of school suspension. It could be that that school is just clamping down on dress codes.
Yes, they
And
are.
how many times has he done this? Dress code
They,
violation.
when I went to the school, they told me that he's been told several times, but like I said, I stay on the other side of town, so I wasn't. I
Oh,
mean, I wasn't given
I
heads up on anything. He told me that he didn't have.
excuse me, sir. I'm speaking. Firstly, thank you, time served, for being here. Can somebody give me an audio check and make sure that I'm not crackly cracking? Um, I will wait for that in the chat as I ramble aimlessly. Um, so no, I am not on the screen at the moment. I am doing this via audio only tonight to get myself better sooner. What I wanted to point out, okay, thank you, arbitrary. So what I wanted to point out was this, which I find hilarious, and obviously I'm not going to be able to fully show you what I mean, but my daughter, who's 14 years old, has extremely eclectic taste in her clothing, which is great. She's proud and happy and confident enough to go to school wearing things I would not have done. Okay. And I've before brought up certain things about them and been properly served back with, why would people be sexualizing us at this age, mom? And those kinds of comments. And I should know better because I raised her. So I obviously, it's hard for me to, tell her not to wear something for a reason of somebody else not feeling feelings about it. So I'm really not a fan of school dress codes necessarily. However, um, I think in the States, it's a very weird and interesting sort of stance that people take, because again, there seems to be a lot of onus on the person wearing the clothing and not on the sometimes teachers, but sometimes students that are having the issue. Now, I know that teachers find some things distracting and all that kind of stuff, but still, I just think it's not good practice for the real world where you can't control what everybody wears around you in order to make sure you don't get your feelings hurt. Anyways, and like seriously, my daughter wears like tube tops and mini skirts and stuff with like grunge sort of feel to it, but still. And I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, I trust her as a kid and I trust her as a person. And yeah, that's the way it is. Anyways, I used to wear pajamas a lot to school. But let's continue. I am reminding everybody, if you're new here, this is old detention hearings from 2021 in Tarrant County, Texas. And the judge, Alex Kim, up in the top left, he is the dude that gets to pick if these kids get released or not. And you got to play by his rules. And one of those rules is being level 1 outstanding. So you'll hear a lot of reference to what level a kid is at. Those levels are very, very arbitrary, sort of like the point system in this chat room. You'll notice that we give out points. You get points no matter if you're a member or not. It doesn't cost anything for points, but you get points the more you watch. I think it's every 5 minutes you get a set amount of points. So anyways, let's continue on. Just know, if you have any questions, let us know in the chat. We're here to help. We play this a lot, and I'm glad to see some of our new people here. Oh, and thank you again, Mayor, for that lovely gift of 5 memberships. That's awesome. Oh, and make sure you clock in, hitting the like or dislike button to make sure we know that you're here. That's how we take attendance, folks.
Any jeans, but when I talked to his mother last week, she told me he cut up all his jeans to make them rip. So
Right. So he didn't get suspended for dress code violation. He got suspended because he kept on violating the dress code violation.
Correct.
Do you not see your son before he goes to school?
Yes, I do.
And you knew he's getting in trouble for his jeans, and you still let him go to school like that?
He tells me, Mama, as long as the principal says, as long as I have tights up under there, I'm not going to get in any trouble. I'm not going to get like they're not going to say anything about it. So he goes to school with them like that with his
And so the last time he told you that, and you got suspended just for one day or sent home, you didn't learn, you didn't learn your son's lying to you?
Huh?
You didn't learn your son's lying to you the first time you got suspended?
No, I didn't think it was a problem because he was going to school at first like that. And they didn't say anything about it until just recently. Now they
Have you talked to the principal about this?
Yeah, I've talked to them about it.
You did, and the principal said it's okay as long as he wears tights underneath his jeans.
Yes, as long as you wear your tights under your jeans.
So the principal told you that and then suspended your kid?
Yes.
Yeah, the principal told me as well that I mean, it was okay if he had tights under his jeans, long as any skin wasn't showing. But they said they had given Kevin Young like several jeans to put on, and he told him that he didn't like them and he took them off, or that he didn't like them.
Yeah, everything about this I don't like. Kevin, I was willing to let you go, but I just don't even know what's going on. I don't even understand. If it's so important to wear what you want to wear, I'm just going to keep you here. You're going to wear the clothes that you're given. All right? Fix your attitude. Realize you're going to go to school. You're going to participate. And you're going to follow the rules. And then I'll consider letting you go. But at this point, you're making a whole bunch of bad mistakes as you're stacking up now. So I'm detaining you.
How long will you
Olivia or Tagon?
How long will you detain him? Oh, he's done? He didn't give nobody no time to talk. He got to talking too fast.
Yeah, it's all right. Calm down. Calm down.
All right, Olivia, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought here, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you. What do you see if I keep you? You'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney. All right. Olivia, 17 years old.
Put your baby on the table.
In 2019, referred by Arlington. Victim was a stoplight. 5 teenagers walked out from an alley, surrounded her car, told her to get out. She said no. Male, female, pointed black handguns. And so the driver unlocked the door. Male opened the door, grabbed her wrist, pulled her out. All 5 got in, drove away. Police were unable to find the car or people. Later, Euless found the vehicle and 4 suspects. You were a passenger. Driver identified you as one of the people from the photo lineup, but you were not the one with a gun. You were the one blocking the vehicle. Oh, Aaliyah Beatty was the one with the gun. We know Aaliyah. And so September 15th, before this all happened, you were brought in by Arlington. You were in the backseat of the car that the police tried to pull over, and the driver evaded until they blew out the front tires. And so, criminal trespass of a vehicle. The car was stolen at gunpoint September 14th. November 18th of 2019, you had court and you failed to appear for court. So you've been on the run for a year and 3 months or so?
Yes.
Mom, you're here?
Yes.
So this is the first time you've seen your daughter in a year and 3 months?
No. She's
When did you see her last?
I just saw her like yesterday.
Well, why didn't you let us know that you saw her?
Well, I had called the Fort Worth Police Department and told them that she was back home.
Why didn't you call us and let us know that you found her?
I never heard. I mean, like, I came up here and I came to court, but then they said they were going to move the date, and I never heard anything from them. I didn't get a letter. I didn't get anything. I figured it was because of COVID. I don't know.
Ms. Guerrero, is this correct? That we never let her know to notify us when she found her daughter?
Judge, I can only go by the notes because this case was not assigned to me when she was pending court. The last note enter here by a supervisor states that the DTA was issued when Olivia did not appear for court and mom reported her as a runaway. I don't show any notes indicating that the family was contacted after they did not appear. So like I said, I can only go by what's on JCMS.
I understand. You know what? I think we just need an inventory and find all the parents and just bring them all to county jail and wait until the kids show up. And that may be the way to fix this. So anyways, Olivia, if I let you go, you're just going to run away again and abscond from court. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. I'm going to let you know, Olivia, that if you have an attitude here, you're 17 years old, I will transfer you to the adult jail downtown. You can wait out your case over there. If you're going to stay here at Kimbo at the juvenile facility, I expect you to be on your best behavior and be an example, a good example for all the other kids here so they understand what it takes to make positive changes in their life. Meanwhile, if you just want to go downtown, let me know. Otherwise, get to level 1 outstanding and you got to hold it. There are plenty of kids downtown right now for juvenile cases because they could not behave here at Kimbo.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
She has a baby, 5-month-old. How long is she gonna be?
I'm sorry?
How long will she be in jail? I mean, she has a baby, a 5-month-old.
Well, let me tell you. So if the district attorney files for determinate sentence punishment, she could be incarcerated for up to 20 years. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know how long it's going to last, but Olivia, it looks like you made some poor choices, especially at the not showing up for court. As far as the robbery case, I don't know if you actually did it or not. That's for a trial, but I'm just letting you know the worst case scenario, you're looking at 20 years.
This is another case where I am sitting here waving my red flag, but I also would like to point out yet again the short-sightedness of all of this. The statistics about children whose parents are incarcerated are already well documented. While yes, she should act before she does things, she's a young teenager who is not fully developed in their brain yet, and so they're not going to make good choices. But what we could do at this point in time with this ability to intervene is put in some good parenting structure and help for her to teach her how to be a better parent to the 5-month-old. While it may be too late to stop her from getting into the system because she's already in the system, we could possibly intervene in helping with her child being raised and not getting into this situation. If we were able to put aside our feelings of punitively punishing people and actually think through what the bigger picture is. This 5-month-old baby, she does those things because she doesn't have the proper supports and structure around her to help her. So if we demonize her, we condemn both her and her baby to a future like this, as opposed to saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we got to change this up. Maybe where she's living is not helping. Maybe we need facilities that have places for moms to live with their babies with some supervision, but with also support and love and care. I agree that people getting charged with crimes like them are serious. However, we have to understand that, you know, laws are worded seriously for a reason. And I personally believe that the juvenile justice system should not be a punitive punishment system, rather a rehabilitative system in itself. If you are so showing such difficulty with a case that you transfer it to the adult system, so be it. However, um, that shouldn't be the case for all of them. The reality about juveniles is that they make bad decisions. They do. So what you need to do is implement programs and situations for them so that they don't get involved in the wrong situations to begin with. Again, all of that is money invested ahead of time with very hard to see return on investment later on. But again, we want to punish her because she had a baby, because she's young, because she went and committed this crime. The law of parties in Texas strictly gives them the ability to charge somebody who was just in sort of proximity to a crime with a crime in Texas if it results in certain things. Judge Kim loves to talk about that. These numbers he throws out as a wake-up call to people, but he also throws these numbers out, and I think to myself, the cost of that, the cost of this baby. Every day this baby is not with its mother is not good for either of them. But again, is incarcerating her actually helping the situation? Again, why would you not like sentence her to be in a intensive parenting program where she's marked and taught skills that she will be able to take forward, and if she leaves that program then she gets back into the justice system? But again, these are the things they could do if they wanted to, but they just don't. They choose not to. That's not where they choose to put their money. And again, the every dollar you invest in early childhood education and intervention, parenting help for those families that need it, group support for young moms, sex education so that these people don't get pregnant to begin with. Anyways, let's keep going.
And before your 19th birthday, I would have to either transfer you to the adult prison or probate you or parole you. That would be a decision I would have to make later. So Olivia, I encourage you to do the best you can here with a good behavior level to help your attorney represent you. Okay? All right. Thank you,
Your
everyone.
Honor.
Thank
Yes.
you, Judge.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Now I'm going to pass the docket over to Judge Terry. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Judge Kim.
No.
Great. Casey Abamba? Hi, Casey, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. Purpose of the hearing is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian if I should keep you here detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Willett. I don't see him today, and so Mr. Shaw will fill in for him. Looks like, well, obviously, probable cause was previously found that an offense was committed of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and deadly conduct, discharge of a firearm was committed, and that you were the one. Allegedly occurred on February 17th, and you were referred by Arlington PD on the 24th of February for that. So looks like this is your first 10-day hearing, and you were just level 1 outstanding as of today. So Mr. Lahara, can you kind of explain what's been happening there with him? Your sound is off. So you're set for court in front of Judge Porter for the 24th. It's the 11th. So that'll be before your next 10-day detention hearing. I'm seriously disturbed about the allegations here that you were shooting a gun at someone's house, and that coupled with the fact that you know this is happening and you've been told by Judge Kim for sure what your behavior level is supposed to be. You can't just get to level 1 outstanding with a gun offense like this and just get there the day of your detention here and expect to be released. So I do think releasing you would be a danger to the community, so I'm going to go ahead and keep you detained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge. Yes, ma'am. Please attend.
Serena Barley? Hi, everyone. Hi, Serena.
Hi.
Sorry you don't get Judge Kim today. He's
No, I'm
tied
sorry.
up all day in another hearing. So I know we just talked on Tuesday. And is there anything that's changed since then?
Yes, the refuge accepted me, and they want to get me gone by the end of the month.
Okay. Obviously, you know, you have the right to remain silent and right to your attorney. I know Ms. Jacobson was here somewhere, but if not now, then, oh no, there she is. So we know we got that out of the way.
Judge
So the refuge
Terry-
did accept.
Seriously, I'm speaking. Tupac, thank you so much. MB, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Chris with the fur, thank you for joining. Here's the deal. And Jesse, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not preaching that everybody should be given second chances willy-nilly, no neely, no dilly. However, what I think is that wouldn't the better justice, wouldn't the better punishment per se be to make her be a good parent. Spend the money you spend incarcerating these children on making them do what they need to do. So imagine if you spent that money on intensive parenting supports with a place for them to live and daily check-ins with parenting coaches and supports around them. While it might cost the same and it might be difficult for this child to accomplish, wouldn't the end result be better? Like, I get it. It doesn't feel good that kids do bad shit and we end up trying to rehabilitate them or do the parenting that their parents may not have done at that point. But to me, I personally think that the tax dollars would be better spent forcing the things to happen that need to happen. It's sort of just like in Time Served last live one. What's willy nilly no dilly? I know. Armed robbery, she could have killed Rebecca. I agree. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be absolutely monitored. I'm talking about a live-in program where she has her baby. So she has not only the responsibility of becoming a better person, she has the responsibility of taking care of her child and doing it properly with the check-ins and people around her to support her to do it so that eventually when she is quote unquote done with her sentence, she's not only a responsible member of society, but she's a responsible parent. And her parent and her child may not ever have to enter that system. She may not want her kid, but as far as we know, she's been parenting this child as good as she can up until this point. And the whole system doesn't wouldn't exist if we put as much energy into helping kids at this early age get the supports that they need, even if we don't agree with the fact that they're there or that they've had children at that age or whatever. Judge Kim does care about people, and he really cares too. His hands are somewhat tied. What I'm talking about is sort of, you know, a perfect world where the judge would really be able to say, no, you have to do this. Take care of your kid, take care of your life, this stuff. But um and the other thing is, remember, I'm Canadian, so I can go ahead and um like comment on all this all I want. Our system is very different. Some programs do have programs for young mothers with babies in the system, and we have that in BC where I'm from. All I'm pointing out is that if the goal is to lessen the number of these cases in the system, then she's too late to help, but her baby is at the ripe age to help. It will cost us the least amount of money to intervene in this part of this baby's life. 5 months old, the damage has not been done fully yet. This is the absolute perfect time. And if you took the amount of money that you're spending on the screen here with all of these professionals, all these lawyers, all these whatevers, for how many times a day, how many whatevers, if you take that money and you put it into the 5-month-old baby and her parent and helping that baby not get into this system, what you will find is that the dividends pay head over feet as you go on later. But politicians and people in office have a hard time seeing that because it's just money out of the pocket in this moment, instead of you don't get to see the results for years, unfortunately. But if you have the ability to see that far ahead and know that this is the right thing to do, you will see the benefits. And I think that you'll find like the RTC programs probably cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per person a day, and the detention facility is like $1,000 a day. Um, Hi Orlando Chiquita, thank you for being here. Anyways, I want her to get the best help possible, and if this is all she can get, then maybe this is the way it is. But my whole point is that there may be ways that we could do things a little bit better. But again, from my perfect world in my bed, I say this, right? Anyways, I love hearing your guys' thoughts on this. I love it when you challenge me or what I'm saying. That's important here. We never have any issue with debate because I love to hear different perspectives, and I'm absolutely willing to change my mind lots of times if it's changed. That's the way it works. I'm a data person. Anyways, If it was a perfect world, everyone would be a gnome. Yes, could everyone please write in the chat what their specific gnome style would be if they lived in gnome world? Please and thank you. Okay, let's go.
Sure, is that right, Ms. Neighbors? Oh, we knew that. That's what we knew. That's the one in Austin, right?
Well, she had her interview. Lori, can you? Yes, they informed me yesterday afternoon that they are willing to take her back with the understanding that Serena will not have any assaultive behavior there. And if she does have one, she will be discharged.
Okay, and where's Mr. Alexander? And so, to me, that does not change the what we discussed at her perm review on Tuesday. I still want a simultaneous search going on, or I guess now it's not simultaneous, the search is over, but I still want JPD to continue a search for her, just in case. Okay,
Yes,
Serena, just as a backup. I'm not saying that I won't approve the refuge. What I'm saying is that we need to have it prepared just in case you backslide again, okay?
Well, Lori, are we still looking into the placement in Florida? Yes, we are. All right, so we're still ongoing, Judge.
And so the refuge too wouldn't even be ready till the end of March.
They're not even able to give us a date yet.
Okay. And so we'll probably have another detention hearing before that even happens, I'm guessing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2 weeks from now. All right. So, all right, Serena, I just want to know what your behavior level, still level 1 outstanding. Awesome.
Thank you.
Keep it up, okay?
I will.
Let's not jeopardize this. I don't want to have to use the placement that Mr. Alexander finds, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. Have a good day, all.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Hey, Maurice, Howard.
Yes, ma'am. How's it going?
It's going, isn't it? Let's see how it's going for you. It is going not level 1 outstanding, it's level 1 acceptable. As you know, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to your attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Adeniji, and he is here.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. You know, this is your 10-day detention hearing, so I get to determine whether I should release you or if I should keep you detained. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out, so you were brought in about a month ago, February 9th.
Yes, ma'am.
For, let's see. They filed a violation due to offense date of January 12th for two of deadly conduct, unlawful carrying of, well, no, deadly conduct and disorderly conduct discharge of a firearm. And then you also have petition on file from back in September for possession of a dangerous drug and unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are currently on probation, tested positive for cocaine and marijuana when you were brought in. And you are set for the 24th for your adjudication.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the likelihood of that going forward on that day, Mr. Adeniji?
At this point, I've not gotten any offer to consider. So,
okay.
But there's nothing other than probably continue on probation.
Okay. All right. So let's see.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I have a
Yes.
question. I noticed on the charges that you read, it said discharge. My understanding is that the weapon was never discharged. And
Yes, I did point it out to the court. The offense is tracking the provisions of the law.
Oh, yeah, this is the Marco's Pizza thing. Oh, yeah, I know that. I already know that. Thank you. All right. Well, I mean, take away that one, and we still have some other pretty serious allegations.
Pretty serious. I understand, but I'm just.
But we're not here for trial, ma'am, and so that's Mr. Adenishi's job. He's very aware of that, and he will handle that when it comes to dealing with the state as far as any offers go, or if it proceeds to a contested hearing. Okay.
Okay.
We're here today to determine whether or not he would be a danger to the community if I were to release him still. He's level 1 acceptable. So what's going on with that? Let's see, who's the PO on this one? Mr. Miller.
According to the detention records, he was talking without permission and disrupting staff is why he was dropped down.
Okay. What was he like before that since he got here?
He's been on level 1-0 pretty much most of the time.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say,
most of the time. So when else was he not on level 1-0 other than the first few days, obviously?
He had another drop for the same thing probably about a month ago to level 1 acceptable. Not a month ago, but 2 weeks ago.
Okay. He's already on probation for assault causes bodily injury, possession of controlled substance, and theft of property. See, that's the thing, though. Here's what you need to understand, Mr. Howard, is that you may think talking out of turn and being disrespectful towards staff and whatnot is just something silly, and it's not as serious as waving a gun at somebody or assaulting someone or anything like that, or possessing drugs. But it kind of is, because it tells us, you know, you're in this situation, you know, you're locked up here, you know what we want to see in order to consider you being released, and you're still refusing to follow those rules. So if you can't follow those simple rules, I have zero confidence that you're ready to be level 1 outstanding at home and not be a danger to the community and not violate your probation. And so I do think if you are released at this point, you'd still be likely to reoffend, and so I'm going to keep you detained. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Honestly, guys, I know I say this every time, and it's just, I'm sorry, Judge Terry. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, which was said to me constantly when I was a kid. She's annoying. She's snooty, and I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say things like that, but seriously, she just rubs me the wrong way. It's hard to rub me the wrong way. Seriously. Anyways, please do hit that like button if you guys are watching. You can also hit the dislike button. That's totally fine too. I'm okay. With either of those, but that's how we take attendance here. So I like to know how many people were at the show. I loved reading about all your gnome types. I don't know if there are types of gnomes. I just, we can have whatever we want here. Also, I do want to mention about Streamlabs. If you guys are wanting to not see that, you can definitely block Streamlabs and not see the gambling and such. If you do want to know about it, I know Jonathan knows a little bit about it, and I'm learning as well. But you can gamble the points that you get. So it's the PTA vibe. I think that I don't know, it's just not, I'm not liking it. And Judge Kim also is sort of snooty or snarky sometimes, but it's just, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know. Anyways, the other thing I was gonna say, and Monica, maybe you can drop this in the chat if you're around, but My Crazy Life had that fire earlier this week or last week, and there's a GoFundMe set up. So Monica, if you can drop that in the chat when you get a second, please, guys. Please, if you have a moment to check that out, please do. Fire is devastating. It's horrible to have. And so our thoughts and prayers are with you, MCL, 100%. So yeah, please drop that in the chat, Monica, when you get the chance. Let's continue on, guys. I love you all. I'm so glad that you're all here. There it is. There's the GoFundMe. Please and thank you, guys. Gift. Okay, what the heck? Jonathan just won with the gift. And I swear, who was it that we saw earlier that didn't? Anyways, it's completely arbitrary, guys. Let's continue on.
Angel Salazar?
Judge Terry,
Yes.
I'm on this case. The mom was unable to be here today.
Okay. Hi, Angel. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. The purpose is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Raphael Sierra, but I don't see him here. And so Mr. Shaw will, oh no, I see Raphael's, there he is. He's coming. There he is.
I'm
Good
here,
morning.
Judge.
All right. Let's see. You're level 1 outstanding. You've been here since the 26th of January for unauthorized use of vehicle, theft of property, 2,500 to 30,000, and evading arrest, detention with the vehicle. Officers were following a stolen vehicle, initiated the stop. And when it came to a stop, driver exited and began to run from the vehicle. Driver then gave up. Officers placed him under arrest. He was identified as you. All right. Okay, this is actually scheduled for court on February 3rd, which must be a typo. So when is he scheduled? Oh, the 17th. So just next week. Oh, and you already had a petition on file at the time of the referrals. That's from last year, unauthorized use of a vehicle and evading arrest, detention. Again, another theft of property, 100 to 75. Okay. That was from last April. At a time when you were supposed to be quarantining. So that's September of 2020, you're referred out of custody for a burglary of a building. Tested positive for marijuana when you came in January. 1, 2, 3. Well, at least 4 months out of the last 12, you are alleged to have committed criminal offenses. So why is he just now level 1 outstanding as of today?
Your Honor, he's been having some discipline issues in the detention center. He was last secluded a couple of days ago for being involved in an altercation. And so he's been working on getting his level back up to level 1 outstanding, and that's where what he received this morning.
All right, Angel. I mean, this is all up to you. Apparently, you still want to stay here, knowing that you have a court date coming up and all these pending offenses. You need to give Mr. Sierra something to work with and give the DAs a reason to work with him. But you're not. You're making it really hard on him. But that's your choice. You can stay here. You're absolutely not going to accept any sort of parental supervision and probably likely to reoffend. So, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Oh, the next one yours too, Mr. Sierra. Ernesto Villa.
Judge, mom should be on. She was having problems getting on. She didn't, apparently probation hadn't let her know that she had a setting today.
Okay.
So she got in late and I asked Ms. Stephanie if she could let her in. I don't know if she.
I don't have access to that right now. So if she was late, then she wouldn't have been allowed in. So unfortunately, but I can't even.
She didn't have notice, Judge. I asked.
No, I understand that, but I don't have access to that right now, or else I would.
Okay, her name is Lydia Hernandez, Judge.
Okay, yeah, I see that on the paperwork. Thank you. All right, Ernesto, I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. The purpose is to determine whether I can release you to a parent or guardian today, or if I should keep you detained. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. As you see, your attorney, Mr. Sierra, is here. Let's see, you are 16, brought in on the 24th of February. So this is your first 10-day detention hearing. On a DTA, let's see. Your probation was extended in October by Judge Porter. And that would have been expired on the 14th of July of this year. You were also ordered to successfully complete inpatient treatment at TYRC. So the next day you entered the inpatient treatment and then you were unsuccessfully discharged less than 2 weeks later for several violations, including threatening staff. Judge Porter issued a DTA for you the very next day on November 10th. and nowhere to be found until Arlington PD located you at a residence in Arlington on February 24th. They brought you here. You have, let's see, 2017, several chances in 2017, 18, probation for unauthorized use of a vehicle. Another offense was waived. Probation, theft of a person in 2020. Those were modified in 2020. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DTAs had to be issued for you within the last, roughly within the last year. So you've shown us that you are likely to abscond. So I'm going to go ahead to keep you detained. You're set for court on the 17th. Thank you. The next child is under 14, so do not bring them in yet. Pursuant to Texas Family Code 54.08C, if the child is under the age of 14 at the time of the hearing, the court shall close the hearing to the public unless the court finds that the interest of the child or the interest of the public would best be served by keeping the hearing open to the public. The court cannot make such a finding with regards to the next child, and so we are going to
This will be our last hearing for tonight, guys. It's an hour long. Don't worry, it's not ending soon, but I do have to take it a little bit easier. So this will be it for, we've got 1 hour-ish left, depending on how much I talk. So please enjoy. Please also
Good morning,
hit that
everyone.
like button.
These are
Better than I
the
said.
detention
Woo!
hearings for the 323rd Judicial District Court of the State of Texas for Friday, March 12th, 2021. The Texas Supreme Court has recommended that we keep the in-person hearings in this court to a minimum. However, in keeping with the open court's provision of the Texas Constitution, these hearings are being broadcast live on YouTube to provide the public with meaningful access to the courts. Rebroadcasting or recording all or part of these hearings is expressly forbidden. Violation of the court's order may subject you to civil and or criminal contempt proceedings. Our first hearing is Amari Rashawn Brooks. Are you Mr. Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brooks, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day detention hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And is Ms. Smith here?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
All right, good to see you, Ms. Smith. The court will take judicial notice of the fact that Judge Kim has previously determined that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention and entered a finding of probable cause. According to the records provided to the court today, you are level 3 confined, if for no other reason than visiting inappropriate websites during school using your Chromebook. Before I can even consider you for release, Mr. Brooks, what does your detention level have to be in the back?
1 outside.
1 outstanding, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're not there, are you?
No.
You're not even close, are you?
Yes, sir.
What do I have to do today?
Hear what?
What do I have to do today? Detain you or release you?
Time.
Why?
You're not the 1 outstanding.
That'll be the order of the court. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
You as well, Judge. Have a great day.
Lauren Anna De La Rosa.
Hello.
Good morning, Ms. De La Rosa. How are you?
Morning. I'm doing great this morning.
Good. My name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Ms. Taylor, is here. Do you see Ms. Taylor on the screen?
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you violated a technical condition of your probation sufficient to warrant your detention in our facility. You have a hearing scheduled before Judge Kim. Let's see. Is it next Thursday or a week from Thursday? Week from Thursday, I believe.
Yes, the 23rd.
Ms. De La Rosa, Before I can consider you for release, what does your detention level need to be in the back?
1-0.
What is your level today?
2-0.
Okay. So what am I supposed to do? Detain you or release you?
Detain me.
And why?
Because I'm not in 1-0.
Uh-huh. Now, if you're not one outstanding, you're making Miss Taylor's job very, very, very difficult, because Judge Kim will consider that at the hearing on March 23rd. So you want to do your best to get to level 1-0 and maintain it. That will put Miss Taylor in the best possible position to fight for you, okay? As for today, I got to order that you be detained. Thank you, young lady. Thank you, Miss Taylor.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, next, Jeremiah Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Are you Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Johnson, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And there's Mr. Daniels. Do you see Mr. Daniels on the screen?
Good morning, Jeremiah.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
All right. The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention. Is that mom and dad in the family room?
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right. Jeremiah, did Judge Kim go over the detention levels with you in the back?
Yes, sir, he did.
And what did he tell you your level needed to be before I can consider your release?
A 1 acceptable.
No, 1 outstanding.
1 outstanding.
Uh-huh. But you're not even level 1. You're level 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Part of the reason why Judge Kim and Judge Terry and I make y'all get to level 1 outstanding is because that proves to us that you can follow the rules in the back. And if you can follow the rules in the back, then we have better confidence that you can follow the rules at home. So that's why we make y'all get there and maintain it. You haven't been level 1-0 since the beginning of the month. So you're kind of struggling in the back, right?
Yeah.
I need you to work on that, okay? I need you to get to level 1 outstanding so that you can prove to me, so that you can prove to your parents, so that you can prove to Judge Kim that you do know how to follow the rules. All right?
Yeah.
Can you do that? All right. But you're not level 1 today, so what do I have to do?
Detain me.
Yes, sir. Mom and Dad, have you been able to talk to your son while he's been in detention?
Yes, we have.
Okay. That's real important for him that y'all keep up that communication and encourage him to get to level 1-0, okay?
We have been doing that. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That'll be the order of the court. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I love you,
I
Jeremiah.
love you, Jeremiah.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Judge.
Marvin Dontrell Meredith. Okay.
First name Marcus. Yeah, see what they're doing. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. How are we doing on getting Mr. Meredith?
This is DeMarvion's mom. He's not in detention. I was told to come here for a show cause hearing.
Okay.
He's actually in detention in Denton.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me so much. Okay.
Your Honor, this is Karina's case. She just called me saying that she's having technical difficulties, is not able to, well, okay, Karina, try and talk.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yes, Your Honor. I was just going to let you know he is in the Denton County Detention Center on a probation violation, and Mom did contact 3 attorneys for the show cause hearing.
Okay. Okay, after reviewing the application, the court cannot make a finding that the family qualifies. So I'm sorry, Mom, you're going to need to continue to search for an attorney for your child. But in this case, you just don't qualify. I'm sorry, for a court-appointed attorney.
Okay.
How much more time do you need to get that taken care of?
I would just have to contact, them. I could probably do it by the 23rd if I had to. But I mean, I know it doesn't look like we qualify on paper, but we've been getting lawyers for him for the past 4 years. So.
Okay. All right. Then, Ms. Rodriguez, if you'll make that notation, and we will meet again. Let's see.
I'm sorry, that's a little confusing because the child themselves should qualify as indigent, and therefore the attorney should be automatically covered. Like, I understand if you want to hire an attorney, but I don't think that there should be any child that is denied an attorney because their parent may make too much money but not be able to actually hire them. Anyways, the audio video might be messed up in this source video. I'm hesitant to play around with it because sometimes to me the audio is the most important part, but I get the video being messed up. So let me just try and I don't know. Let's see what happens when I press play.
Let's reschedule this for Friday the 26th. That way we don't lose track. Thank you.
Thank you.
$3,700.
Yes, sir.
Your attorney is here. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Back on March 2nd, Arlington Police Department referred you to the Juvenile Probation Department for the offense of criminal mischief, valued at damage causing more than $2,500 but less than $30,000 worth of damage. According to the report, shortly before noon, officers were dispatched to Millwood Hospital in regards to a patient causing damage to staff. They identified you as somebody who came upset while in treatment and acting out by jumping on the nurse's station desk, allegedly damaging a desk, a monitor, a vital signs reader, and other property, and causing damage valued at least $3,700.
Yes, sir.
And you're also on probation with Smith County out of Tyler.
Yes,
All right, but you've been level 1-0 for the last 2 days. Yes, Ms. Brazel.
You got this.
He is pending charges in Smith County. I did hear from the PO in Smith County, and they are set for court on the 25th for that misdemeanor assault.
And Judge, we're set for court on the 24th, and CPS doesn't, the only placement, my understanding is the only placement CPS has for him right now is in the CPS office. Marcus is at 1-0 here, which I think is good. I think is where he will be the least amount of problems for himself and for others if he were to remain here. Marcus, I'm sorry. Just don't have anywhere else for you to go. And so I think that if he remains here, and I know you're mad, baby, but if he remains here, we can get this court hearing done, give CPS time to hopefully find a placement for him that's close to Smith County, or, we can work something out between counties to get things settled. I don't know.
Your Honor, could I offer some on this? I would like to let it be known that the whole week he was at the hospital, he was very volatile with the staff there at the hospital before he had the incident that required his arrest. he has assaulted caseworkers in our office the last time he was placed in the office. And I faxed a request for records on case ID 2021-006-10317 to the police department because I believe he is and currently a party to that case and that he assaulted a child in that same day. And those charges I'm waiting to get the word back on if those charges were filed against Marcus from the parent of the child that he assaulted.
And I can add that I have personal knowledge that Millwood Hospital is not a very good hospital, is probably not very protective of their children that are in their care. And I'll be very interested to see the report that he's requested to see if maybe Marcus was not the only one participating in that.
Are those factors that I need to consider on whether to detain Marcus or release Marcus to a parent or guardian?
I think the factors that I think what I want you to understand is my answer is no.
Good answer.
Thank you.
We have several hearings today. Let's try and stay on task.
Okay. And I think the point is, I think he's safer here than he would be if you send him back to the CPS office and there's no other place to send him.
Okay. That answers question number one. Question number two. Ms. Brazel probably knows the answer to this. Does Smith County want to go first, or are they willing to wait until we take care of our stuff first?
She said that their recommendation, since it is a CPS case, that it would probably be an adjudication and withhold judgment, withhold disposition, since he is a CPS case and they don't know where he's going to be located. She said she would look into moving their hearing since we have a felony.
All right. Sounds like we're getting our ducks in a row. And that helps Ms. Abels, right?
It does.
All right. Okay. Marcus, first, let me see your certificate. Hold it up for me. What does it say?
We're demonstrating outstanding care by maintaining level 1 status 7 days, consecutive days, March 6th through March 12th, 2021, President by New Day Services Chaplain.
Sweet.
Good job, buddy.
That is awesome. Okay. Can you do me a favor? Can you maintain that level 1-0 for me in the back?
Yes, sir.
I know you don't want to be back there, but
I know that too.
but Marcus, what are my options? My options are to send you to the CPS office.
I know I have my stuff there. Last time they didn't give me nothing to do there. I was just in a room all day. I have actually stuff there now, bro. Like I have my stuff there and stuff, bro. Like,
and it's boring, isn't it?
No, it's not now because I got my stuff there. My own attorney telling me she want me to stay here. Like what?
No. I'm talking like at the CPS office. It's boring, isn't it?
No, now it's not because I have my stuff there. Like I have I got like an MP3 and stuff, and they give me real food stuff. Like I have stuff that last time I didn't have nothing. I had to watch the same movies over and over again. I have my own stuff there now.
Well, okay. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and order that she be detained today. But Miss Abels,
yes, sir.
Is there a possibility that you and Mr. Reed might be able to wrap this case up sooner so that Smith County is able to wrap his case up on time as it's currently scheduled?
I would imagine.
Okay.
That he and I can. My biggest concern is where are we going to put him? Because if we wrap this up tomorrow, there's no place to put him.
And so that's why I'm going to order CPS to be back here on Friday of next week. We're going to reschedule another 5-day business detention hearing. You need to be back here next week with placement options for him.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I don't want an excuse of, I need more time. No, you've been working on this for a while. I want options next Friday.
And everybody here understands that children with his history are hard to place. We know that because we try it all the time.
Yes, we do.
But somehow or another, we have to find Marcus somewhere to go. Because eventually he's got to go.
Yeah, and I would just like to make note that we have not just the program director, but we have the regional director, and we're working at the state level on this, possibly even spreading out wider. So we are making those attempts, and we do want to see Marcus get into placement.
Good. I look forward to hearing your results Friday of next week.
Marcus, be on level 1 next Friday. Don't make the judge have the only option of prison, okay?
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. So stay on level 1 this week, and I'll call you or come see you this week.
And Miss Abels, if you and Mr. Reed and the CPS can get something worked out even sooner than that,
yeah,
then you call Miss Kelleher, you get it scheduled. I don't care if I have to stay here till 9 o'clock at night to make it happen for Marcus. Marcus, the reason I'm going out of my way like this, Marcus, for you is because you're level 1-0 and you earn that certificate. And that proves to me that you're trying to make a change. You're trying to do good. And so for kids who are trying to do good and trying to make a change, I'll go out of my way for them. Okay.
All right. I'll talk to Mr. Reed and I'll talk to Marcus.
All right.
Shelly, will you give the CPS guy my number?
Yes, I will.
Right. Thank you,
Right.
Judge.
Thank you. That's going to be the order of the court.
All right. Bye-bye.
I was really hoping they'd have an answer today because they gave the same song and dance last week or 2 weeks ago to Judge Kim because I was listening. Okay. Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
Good.
My name's Judge Porter. We've met before. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Youngblood, is here. The court will take judicial notice of the fact that the court previously determined that probable cause exists to believe that A, you violated your probation that I put you on, and 2, that you've engaged in delinquent conduct that would constitute at least 1 or more felony offenses if engaged in by an adult. You're level 3, unacceptable in the back. You allegedly have been kicking walls in the back. You're not level 1 outstanding. I'm not going to consider you your release. Anything else, Mr. Youngblood?
No, sir. Those are the reports I've been getting. Our telephone conversations are difficult because there's something wrong with the phones in some of the places back there. But thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Jimmy, I'm going to tell you right now, if you keep up the behavior in the back, you're going to make it really hard for Mr. Youngblood to argue for you to go anywhere other than TJJD. You just need to understand that that's where you're headed if you keep up the behavior in the back that you're engaging in. All right, that's the order of the court. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood.
Okay, apologies for taking over the Zoom earlier.
All right, Samuel Nashimana.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lofton. How are you?
Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast, Your Honor. So. Judge, while they're giving him housekeeping, I had a case set at 9:30. That was in another court in. We've agreed to that, and if the court has time after the detention hearings, if you could call me and I'll get on wherever I am, and I think we'll be ready.
All right, then we'll switch it back to my regular and my regular Zoom meeting ID, and we'll take care of it.
Yes, sir. Just call me whenever. I'll be ready then. So.
All right. Are you Samuel?
Yes, indeed.
Samuel, help me pronounce your last name correctly.
Nashira.
Ah, Nashira. I'm not. I just can't do it. Of course, I have trouble with Gaelic names too. And you'd think somebody of Irish descent could actually pronounce Gaelic, and I can't. All right. Samuel, my name's Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Lofton, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
Good morning.
All right. The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention in our facility. More specifically, back on January 2nd, you were referred by the Fort Worth PD on charges of aggravated robbery and evading arrest. According to the police report, on that day, the police met with the victim who reported that he was cleaning out his vehicle when two unknown males walking past his house then turned around and began walking towards the victim in his vehicle. He directed them to leave. One of them allegedly pulled out a semi-automatic pistol from inside his jacket and told the victim to open the door to his vehicle. The victim refused. The armed suspect pulled back the slide, chambered a bullet, and again ordered the victim to open the vehicle for the two suspects. The victim then complied, and the two suspects entered the vehicle with the armed suspect in the passenger seat and drove off in the victim's vehicle. The victim's vehicle was spotted by a camera on Oak Grove Road, and police attempted to initiate a traffic stop. The stolen vehicle increased its speed and began changing multiple lanes in an attempt to evade officers. A chase ensued on westbound I-20, and then eventually the vehicle's driver was unable to control the vehicle's speed, causing it to jump a median, striking a pole on James Avenue, and wrecking the vehicle. The police have alleged that you leapt from the passenger seat, so that would suggest that you're the one who had the gun, and then fled on foot, running north on James Avenue, defying lawful orders by the uniformed officers to stop. You were eventually caught during a foot chase and detained, and a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber was found in the floorboard where you had been observed sitting. All right, Mr. Lofton, what are your thoughts?
Judge, I think probation and the prosecutor might have some other things to say first. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll note that he's been level 1-0 since yesterday. And that he is scheduled for a hearing before Judge Terry 2 weeks from today. Or no, 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday. Sorry. 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday. So given the fact that he's only been level 1-0 for a day, I don't think
I understand, Your Honor.
I don't think I'm yet convinced that if I were to release him, he would not be a danger to himself or the community. Just 1 day on level 1-0 is not enough to convince me.
Yes, sir.
But we'll let Judge Terry handle things a week from this coming Wednesday. That'll be the order of the court.
Yes, sir. May I be excused for a little bit? Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Lofton. Keith Montreal Page. That's one of those police reports. The more you read it, the worse it gets. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Page. How are you?
Good.
Mr. Page, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Gladstone, is here. Do you see him on the screen? All right. The court will take judicial notice that it has previously determined that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention. Let me cut to the chase, Mr. Page. Did Judge Kim go over the detention levels with you? And before I can even consider your release, what's your level supposed to be? 1 outstanding, right? What's your level in the back?
2A.
Does that qualify as 1 outstanding? So what am I supposed to do today? Detain you or release you?
It feels up to me. You put the time.
Yeah, and why?
Because I'm not a 1-0.
Because if you're not a 1-0, then I know you're not following the rules in the back. And if you're not going to follow the rules in the back, you're not going to follow the rules at home, right? All right, that'll be the order of the court. Thank you, Mr. Gladstone.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Valerie Ruiz. Good morning, Mr. Sierra.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Are you Miss Ruiz?
Yes, sir.
Miss Ruiz, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into our detention facility, you must see a judge within 2 business days to determine whether or not probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in our detention facility or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And I've appointed Rafael Sierra to be your attorney. Rafael, if you could introduce yourself to Ms. Ruiz.
Ms. Ruiz, hi, I'm Rafael. I'm your attorney.
Hi.
All right. According to the police report, way back in February of 2019, you were referred to our department, the Fort Worth Police Department, for a misdemeanor assault causing bodily injury that allegedly took place at a metro facility. Officers were notified that you had assaulted a male classmate between second and third period. The officers looked at school surveillance video, were able to see you allegedly approach the victim, attempt to strike him with a closed fist, but he initially got away. However, you continued after him, and then thereafter appeared to strike him 2 times in the back of the head as he walked away. Now, more recently, back on yesterday, March 11th, around 3:45 in the afternoon, Arlington Police Department officer was running plates when he hit a plate that came back with ticket warrants. A traffic stop was conducted, and the officer could smell marijuana coming from the vehicle. You were identified as the driver, even though you had no driver's license, and you handed over a blunt when asked if there was any THC in the car. Officers then searched the car and found a baggie of THC when the car was searched. The total weight of that marijuana was 6.6 grams. All right. So the court will find that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct back in February of 2019, as well as yesterday, sufficient to warrant your initial detention. That's the first thing. Second thing, does she have a parent or guardian here today?
Yes, her mother's here.
All right, Mom. Mom, what's going on? Why has she been on the run for 2 years?
I wasn't aware of that. They told us that we're going to send us some information. They said they did, which I don't remember. And I don't remember about it. I'm a single parent. I work most of the time. She wasn't on the run. If I knew about that, I would have taken her to court. She knows that whatever she does, she has to deal with it, and she has to be responsible for her actions.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Your attorney, Mr. Sierra, probably doesn't want you to say anything. He wants you to exercise your constitutional right to remain silent. However, Mr. Sierra, would you permit your client to ask the court a question, not make a statement, but ask the court a question?
Of course, Judge.
Ms. Ruiz, your attorney's advice is to not say anything, but he will allow you to ask a question if you want to ask a question. Do you wish to ask a question?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me check on something.
Like,
Okay.
even though Judge Porter is sassy and
Mom,
like
do you know?
says probably the exact same things that Judge Terry says, he just means better. You can tell, genuinely. Anyways, yeah, let's continue.
Know where your daughter's getting the marijuana?
No, sir.
Were you aware that she's been using marijuana?
No, a while ago, and she said she had stopped.
Okay. Do you know anything about the traffic tickets associated with the vehicle that she was in?
Not at all, sir.
Okay.
I was at work. I didn't even know she had gotten arrested. They called me like around 8, and they let me know that she was arrested and that she had marijuana with her.
Okay.
Because she didn't even call me.
Maybe it's because Judge Porter is never impolite to the staff. He never sounds impatient. And that, I get that vibe from Judge Terry. Like, she's like, come on. And Judge Kim just straight out says it. I hope you all are doing well. I see you in the chat. Anybody that's new here, this is Kitchen Court Cases. We watch kitchen in my court. We watch court in my kitchen. But I am resting up from a rib injury-ish thing. So I'm off camera tonight, but I'm still here. I was asking what your strain was tonight. Judge Kim, we always joke they have a hilarious obsession with where to get the weed because I think they don't have their own hookups, so they want to get the kids' hookups all the time. That's my theory on it. But anyways, let's continue.
Okay. Mr. Richmond, what are your thoughts?
Well, Judge, given that I note from the report that they failed to appear to 2 intake appointments, and it seems like this is the only way we could get her to show up. It sounds like there's a unlikelihood she would show up if we released her. Further, I've noted the court often detains kids who test positive for drugs, and she tested positive for marijuana yesterday. So I would ask the court to detain.
Mr. Sierra, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, given the circumstances, I will refer to the court's decision, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ruiz, you knew about the 2 intake appointments, and you knew about the traffic tickets. I mean, so it sounds like you just want to do what you want to do when you want to do it without obeying the rules of either your mother or society. And so, that's a classic case where you're a danger to yourself or others. So I'm going to order your detention. We will revisit this case in 10 business days. Let me tell you something. Between now and the time you come back for your next detention hearing, we have different behavioral levels in the back. Level 3 is the absolute worst, and level 1 is the absolute best. Right now, because you're new to the facility, you're at level 2. You want to get to level 1 and maintain level 1.0. If you do that, once you get to level 1.0, if you maintain level 1.0 for 7 calendar days, I'll authorize her release on the electronic monitor. Okay? But if you get to level 1 outstanding and you dip down to level 1 acceptable and then get back up to level 1 outstanding, that whole process starts over. You've got to get it and maintain it for 7 days, and then I will allow your release on the electronic monitor, okay?
I really can't say nothing.
You'll want to talk to your attorney, Mr. Sierra.
I'll call you right after.
And tell him what you want to say, and then he can tell me, okay? That's going to be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Destiny Sanchez.
Give us 1 second, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Beaver. How are you?
Great, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Sanchez. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
My name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Beaver, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
All right. The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your detention. Let's see. Ms. Rojas, are you here?
Your Honor, I'm here for Mrs. Rojas.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Lahara. Is this her only referral to the department?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and is that mom in the family room?
It is Mom. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll note that Destiny has been level 1 outstanding since March the 1st. Mom, what are your thoughts about whether or not to release Destiny? Do you want her to come home?
I don't want her to come to my house. But according to Miss Rojas, I only have 3 options, she said, which was my house, another family member's house, or CPS.
Okay. Is there another family member who's willing to take her in?
I do have my parents that want to take her, but I don't feel safe with that decision.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I please question Miss Washington?
Please, Mr. Beaver, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Miss Washington. So if Destiny were to go and live with your parents, I mean, does she have a good relationship with your parents?
Yes, she does.
All right. And where do your parents live?
1 block over from my house.
All right, great. And you understand that Destiny has been one outstanding, the best level of behavior since March 1st while she's been detained?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So keeping that in mind, do you believe it would be fair to her and I guess your entire family if she were to leave the detention center and have a second opportunity living with your parents?
To be honest, I don't know. I pretty much with her assaulting me over a cell phone has been the last straw for me. I have done several things in the past to get her the counseling and the treatment that she has needed. I gave her many chances over and over again. She got suspended at school 3 days before she assaulted me. And I just honestly don't know at this point if she's actually telling the truth on wanting to change or if she's just playing the act like she did before in the past.
Thank you, Ms. Washington.
Mr. Beaver?
Your Honor, we would request that Ms. Sanchez be allowed to leave the detention facility and to remain with her maternal grandparents. If the court has reservations, then an electronic monitor, I think, could help alleviate some of the concerns that the court may have. But she has demonstrated that she is able to follow instructions by being at level 1 outstanding for over 10 days.
Destiny, you've maintained level 1-0 for 11 days. If I were to release you to your grandparents, can you promise the court that you will maintain level 1 outstanding for your grandparents?
Yes, sir.
And that you will follow their rules?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you don't follow their rules, and if something bad happens at their house, what do you think is going to happen?
I'll come back.
Yeah. So I'm going to authorize her release to the grandparents. Mom, if you get a report or find out that she's not maintaining level 1-0 for grandparents, then please call Miss Rojas, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to give her this chance, though, because 10 days at level 1 outstanding is not easy. And that she's earned this chance. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you,
May I be
Mr. Beaver.
excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
To Korey and Lindell Titus. How are you, Mr. Titus?
Good.
Mr. Titus, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Ms. Taylor, is here. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention. So the court will not go into the allegations underlying your arrest. You got to level 1-0 today, right? Well, I can guarantee you, your attorney doesn't want you to say anything. Ms. Taylor is vigorous in defending her client's constitutional rights. Okay. All right. You're charged with a really, really serious offense, Mr. Titus. And you also have a secondary referral for a second firearms-related offense. Just getting to level 1-0 this morning is not enough yet. I'm too scared that if I were to release you, you'd be a danger to yourself or others. Ms. Taylor, what are your thoughts?
Judge, we come here every 2 weeks. It's my understanding the lowest his level has dropped, and he's been here since November or earlier. Long time. Lowest his level has dropped has been a 2. Again, is my understanding, and I'm sure Mr. Kroll will correct me. I think he's been dipping between 1A and 1-0. I suspect when he I talk to him quite frequently, and I suspect when he raised his hand, that's what he wanted to indicate to this court, is that he's just come up. He's been right there at a 1A, and now today he is a 1-0. And we, again, like we do every 2 weeks, we are respectfully requesting his release. I know the court's been provided with recommendation letters. I know in previous hearings, his family has indicated that, they can keep him safe. They're not in a neighborhood where he would be in danger, and that certainly the public wouldn't be in danger. So we respect the court's decision, but we are, again, as we are every 2 weeks, respectfully asking for his release.
All right. Ms. Taylor, your arguments are not without merit, and the court does take those to heart. But I've got to weigh the danger to the community against his consistent behavior in the back, and consistent by our standards is the expectation that he maintain that level 1 outstanding. So in this case, at this time, I'm not prepared to authorize his release. Yes, Mom, you've got a question.
What's the difference between a 1-0, I guess, or a 1A?
Usually, if they have absolutely perfect behavior in the back, they get to level 1 outstanding. they can lose points for different violations in the back. And it's not just like, let's say they had their mask off the ear for 3 seconds. That's not enough to drop them from 1 outstanding to 1 acceptable. It usually takes a couple of things put together to drop them from an outstanding to an acceptable, but it's on a point system in the back, and they're told about that point systems and how all that works. And so it usually takes a little bit more than, just one thing. When we see kids drop from 1 outstanding to 1 acceptable, and I'm not looking at your son's case, I'm talking about just in general. A lot of times we see it's because kids are talking out of turn in the classroom, but it's not just one time. It's usually, I see reports of at least 3 times in the classroom, plus some other conduct that causes them to drop from 1 outstanding to 1 acceptable. So let's see. Mr. Crawl?
Yes, sir.
What was the basis for him dropping from 1 outstanding to acceptable and then getting promoted?
This last time was a violation for passing out personal information.
Ooh.
So whether that's email, Snapchat, phone number, whatever that was, they deemed it personal information. And that's a violation of standard policy in detention.
And what do you think the wisdom behind that policy is?
The easiest way to express it is compliance with standard probation terms. You don't want others communicating through the system.
Because kids who are on probation are not supposed to hang around other kids who are on probation, correct?
Correct, sir.
And a lot of times back in our detention facilities, we may have kids that belong to different, what we call criminal street gangs. Is that correct?
Correct.
And if one kid gives information to another kid, it's possible that second kid could give that personal information to a third kid who might be of a different gang member than the first kid, correct?
Correct.
And then suddenly that first kid's personal information gets to that opposing gang, and then that third kid gets out and he shares that information with all of his gang members, and suddenly we have a drive-by for the first kid's house and mom and dad are in danger, right?
Correct.
We've actually had that happen, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
All right. So does that make sense, mom and dad? All right. So thank you, Ms. Taylor. Just for today, we're going to go ahead and detain him, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, everyone. Danaya Johnson.
Can't be excused, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll call and make an
It's
appointment.
good to see you. Thank you, everyone. Our last detention hearing will be in person. I'll continue running the camera so that you'll be able to listen in, but there won't be the video feed of all the participants. And Ms. Brazel, if you'd like to join us in person, you may, or you may stay where you are. It's up to you.
I'll come down.
Same thing for you, Mr. Richmond. Totally your option. Oh, you had to wait till the very end. That'll work. Yeah. We'll wait for Mr. Richmond to get here. You have a seat. It's okay. I'll go over the preliminary stuff. Miss Johnson, my name is Judge Porter, and the law says when you're brought into our detention facility and initially detained, you have to see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. We're actually doing yours more frequently, so we're doing yours every 5 days. So this is your 5-day detention hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Ms. Hopkins, is here. I'll let you know if there's something you want to say, don't just blurt it out. Instead, tell Ms. Hopkins first, and that way she can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Here's why. You see that man over in the corner with the computer? That's the prosecutor, Mr. Richmond. He's taking notes. And so anything, while whatever you say at this hearing can't be used against you in the future. It may help Mr. Richmond find more information about you that you may not want him to know. All right? Now, in the grand scheme of things, do you want to help Mr. Richmond or do you want to help your attorney? Good choice. So don't blurt anything out. Tell her first and then she can tell me that. Will that work? All right. Now, according to the police report, back on February 14th, you were referred around 9:30 at night because police were dispatched to Millwood regarding another kid damaging stuff at the nurse's station. Police detained him, but in the process, the police say that you were yelling at them and attempted to interfere. A nurse was holding you back as an officer stood next to him. According to the police report, you then spit on the officer, hitting him on his cheek. You then kicked him in the groin, causing him pain. And then thereafter, you were referred to our department. Okay. Shelley, is she on probation in Dallas County? Okay. Ms. Hopkins, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, we would love for Danaya to be able to be released today. She has been on level 1-0. Additionally, we have been coming back every 5 days because she is PNC of state. And they have been having difficulties finding her replacement. And they have secured a placement. However, that placement is waiting to see if we are going to release her today or not. And so I believe the CPS caseworker, she is here, and the CPS supervisor, I believe, is on Zoom.
Yes, she was. Oh, yes, she is. Okay.
The other thing I would like to remind the court of is that Danaya was off her medication for more than 2 weeks. And since being on her medication, she has is completely different individual. And she is ready.
All right. Tell me about the placement options. Talk louder. Here, your mask. You're 6 feet away from everybody else, so.
Right now, there's an HCS home that is going to be there. It is in Fort Worth. But right now, we're just waiting on confirmation so we can issue. But it is approved. So we have a placement this year.
What do you think? You don't know? Do you want to give it a try or do you want to stay in detention? All right. Ms. Brazel, what are your thoughts?
I'm putting away. I'll put them back with Danaya while she's here. I just want Danaya to know if another incident happens, she may be brought back here and we'll have another detention from what we're having today. And, Your Honor, she knows nothing of this HCS house, which may be why some of her hesitation.
That's understandable.
I just learned it probably while she was walking back here. So we haven't, to let her and the court know, HCS house is a home that has special level of training with individuals, as well as they have a different, it's almost a 2-on-1 with the residents, and it's more of a home structure than a hospitalized or any other thing. So she'll be in a home in Fort Worth with individuals there that can help her get through life. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for her, and she will enjoy it as well.
Is it okay if I ask her a few questions about her medication?
Yes.
Okay, since you've been back in detention, have they been teaching you about your medication and how it's important to take it on time every day?
No, I already know about it.
Okay, well, tell me about it.
In the morning time, I take my pills at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And what time is that?
It's around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay.
The nurses always come in at 8 o'clock, and I'm the first one who take my meds, so I always take it at 8 o'clock. At nighttime, I take 200 milligrams of Seroquel,
Okay.
and I take it at 7:30 every day.
Okay.
The medication is for my mood,
Mm-hmm.
and like it helps me to like stay calm throughout the day.
And let's say if you go to this home, but you get to about 7:30 at night and they haven't brought you your medicine yet. What do you think the right thing to do is? There we go. Exactly. And so you're going to be at a new setting. So I want you to be an advocate for you. So if you're used to taking your medicine at a certain time, when you get there, tell them that. Tell them, I'm used to taking my medication every morning between 7:30 and 8, and that really helps me, and I'd really like to stay on that same schedule. And sometimes they may forget, because I forget sometimes with my stuff. So you be an advocate for you, and you stand up for you, because that's really helping you, okay? Will you do that for me? All right. You've been level 1 outstanding in the back. So I want you to make a promise. You'll take your meds like you're supposed to. You'll be an advocate for yourself. Talking, no fists, just talking, right? And third thing, will you maintain level 1O at the new placement for me? All right. Then I'll authorize her release today. Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Were you able to get all that, Ms. Littlefield?
Yes, that was mostly. We're
All right.
planning for her to leave. We just want her to understand it is an opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like you made a very good point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes today's detention hearings. Everyone have a wonderful, happy Friday.
Thank you.
Shit, Judge Kim even knew it was, or Judge Porter even knew it was Friday. Okay, I have a funny story to tell you guys before I go for this evening. It is about weed, THC. And so you guys have heard me talk before. I've had many, many, many jobs. And one of those jobs was managing a dispensary. And that was before legalization in Canada. So Canada has legal weed now, but this was before weed was legal, but I still managed a dispensary. But anyways, I've used marijuana for many, 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 many years. I did so privately, without telling almost anybody in my whole life for a long time because I was afraid of the social repercussions. And so I used to do that on the DL. Like the people that knew me in my life in the mommy group that I ran would never have thought that I was, um, stoned most of the time. And neither would any of the people at jobs I had, whatever. But I was. And so, however, after I got divorced and in like 2015, I I got divorced, and so my ex-husband had used to buy all the weed all the time. Like I never bought any weed. I didn't even know much about weed. I just knew I liked it. It made me feel better. But sometimes I would like sleep all the time, and sometimes I would be doing great things, and I never knew the difference. And I always just took what I got. And so I never really inquired because I didn't have any options. It was never like it was like shopping when you know you can't buy because I'm didn't have any choice. So I just took what I got. But when I got divorced and I first realized, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to buy my own weed. What am I gonna do? I ended up finding a friend who um, hooked me up and introduced me to a friend. And the first thing that new friend asked me was which kind I wanted, and I was perplexed. And then he proceeded to show me different varieties, and I was like blown away. Could not even believe what was, um, you know, the choice. And I just was like, I don't know, give me whatever you get for this much money, please. And anyways, so from starting from that, pretty quickly I learned um, about different weeds and qualities and stuff like that, and started getting involved in dispensaries, and quickly managed a dispensary after knowing not very much about it. But what I went for a vacation, this is where this story gets funny. I went for a vacation in Chicago, and I was going to a wedding, and we know we can't travel with weed from BC, but I wanted to like smoke shatter when we were there if we could. So we bought pens and we had them like never used before, and we were going to take them over, and we like sort of put in an order ahead of time with a friend of ours that was there. We're like, "Hey, can you get us like, cuz I smoke a lot of weed, and so I needed like to know that I was going to have this available for me." Anyways, we get there and this friend had flaked out. Totally fallen through, didn't get us anything. And I was like immediately upset. Like, oh my God, now I have to like, do all that. Anyways, finding weed in Chicago is really difficult, like insanely difficult. And the first day we tried, we went downtown, and we're pretty, I mean, whatever. Anyways, we got offered everything under the sun except for weed. And we returned to the hotel defeated. The next day, I'm already upset. And we were shopping downtown, and I like walk out of a store, and me and my boyfriend that I'm with both smell the weed at the same time, and we look at each other, and I'm like, let's go. And we split up, and we just naturally split up in different directions to find the source of this weed smell, because we knew this has been our only scent of the stuff since we got here. We need to jump on this as soon as possible. So he went one way, I went the other way. We're looking up and down. I'm like, I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. And then I turn down this little alley, and I see this guy with a skateboard, and I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, do you know where I can find some weed?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can help you with that." And I'm like, "Really?" And so I message my boyfriend. He comes over, and the guy ends up being the coolest guy in the world. We found he First of all, he's like, "Well, how much you want?" I was like, "Oh, we'll take like an ounce." He's like, "An ounce? Motherfucker, got an ounce in my house." I was like, "Oh shit, well, you're gonna need to call a guy or something, because I'm gonna need like at least an ounce of weed." And he was just like hilarious. We're like, "Also, can you get us like the shatter?" And he's like, I've heard of that before. I don't think I can get it." Like, seriously, we became his best customers within one day. Seriously, the dude was driving, like, not driving, he was skateboarding all over town for us. We introduced him to like 5 new customers. And so, but here's the funny part. So the first night, I'm like, "Whatever you got, we'll take what you got. I mean, I want an ounce, but whatever you have, obviously we'll take." And he goes, "I got a tray 5." I'm like, "A tray 5? Like, I'm pretty into weed. I don't know what that is." He goes, "I got a tray 5 for you. That's 5 joints." I was like, 5 joints? Okay, fine. That should do me for tonight until you get back to me tomorrow morning early. And so he's like all sketch about it, hands this tiny, tiny little like double bagged piece of Ziploc stuff over. I do the coolest exchange. I'm not admitting to any crimes here, but it was epic. And we like roll away from this place and get back to our hotel. And I'm like thinking to myself, what? Oh, and I think we paid $80 for this tray 5. So 80 US dollars. I was thinking to myself, Jesus, like, what is this? It's not big enough to be anything I'm paying $80 for, but it is what we have no choices right now. Absolutely zero choices. So we get back to the hotel. I unroll it, unpackage it out of this packaging, and I realize it's like the absolute driest, most rock hard weed I've seen ever. The quality is like subpar, but again, at least we now have a hookup. I get on the phone to him immediately. I'm like, this is, first of all, this is not 5 of anybody's joints. What kind of pinner joints are you rolling here? This is unacceptable. I need you to get onto your guy and get the absolute creme de la motherfucking creme stuff. My dude, I'm serious. Now, given this was a number of years ago, but still, So I realized tray 5 means 3.5 ounces, which is an eighth, right? And tray 5, 3.5 is like, I guess, French for French or Spanish for 3.5. Anyways, uh, like I said, we immediately became like the best customers this dude has ever had. Getting new customers. We ended up meeting this other girl. Oh yeah, we met this. Oh, I can't tell that whole story. No, I can't tell that whole story at all. So I'm not gonna start because that story is so fucking good, and I can't tell that. I'll tell that in a members only story. I know I gotta grind it up, Jonathan. You don't think I brought a fucking brand new grinder? I am not a noob. I'm not a noob. No, seriously, I cannot tell that on YouTube out in that way. I got to do it on like a members only video because that story is so good. Let's just say, I don't even know how to say that like that. Thruple plus weed plus fun plus visiting me, all good stuff from that story. Anyways, that was hilarious to me. We attended the wedding. We got the better weed the next day from the guy. Again, I was like, dude, you need to get all of the weed you can. We loved Chicago. It was a fun city. It is a dangerous city, I'm told. I don't appreciate danger the same way that people do. I went out at 3:30. We stayed downtown. We went to the wedding at Trump Tower. First of all, I was like, this is weird. Why are we at Trump Tower? Like I'm definitely not a I'm just that's not me. I'm not. Anyways, but this wedding was hoity fucking toity. And so we stayed downtown, very near there, and in this like circular hotel. I think it was circular, or we were looking at a circular hotel. Anyways, oh yeah, so at 3:30 in the morning, because I'm on vacation, I was like, I'm gonna go outside and find some food. My boyfriend's like, okay, cool. I don't want to go. And I was like, no problem. Do you want me to bring anything back? He's like, no, it's fine. So at 3:30, I walked down the street, downtown Chicago, like past the 7-Eleven, down to this pizza place that was sort of busy. And I was like, oh, I'll find some pizza, chatting with people. I'm like, it's busy out. This is cool, nice vibe. And then, like, when we told people that, when we were at the wedding, people were beyond horrified. They were like, what? You went where by yourself at what time? And I was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, we had a really good time. We went on a boat ride on the lake. And yeah, it was a really fun time. Um Sorry, I'm reading the chat as I'm talking. And this is me done for the evening, guys. Sorry. But the story, I'm just remembering Chicago now. What else happened? So the funny part about that wedding is that, first of all, that's like the second wedding I've ever been to in my entire life, and the first one was my wedding. I have like -10% experience with weddings for some reason. I don't know. And so I was just, oh, and the guy I was with was the man of honor. So he was the bride's best friend and the man of honor. And I was not in the wedding party, which is totally fine. And so it was a really funny vibe. Anyways, it was a great wedding. We loved Chicago. That dude still like messages us sometimes on Instagram about the weed. How many years ago was I in Chicago? I was in Chicago in 2016, I believe it was. I will post a photo of my trip on Discord. It was a fun time. That's okay. So I don't drink, guys. That's the other, I'm remembering now. So I don't drink very often at all, if ever. I smoke a ton of weed, but again, no fucking weed in Chicago very much. So at the wedding alone, because he's off doing bridal party things with them, and I'm like being a great date by like not being a bother. I'm like, no, I can handle myself. So I just like, the wedding was supposed to be at like 2 in the afternoon. So I get there, I have one glass of champagne, but then there's a delay. And then all of a sudden I've had 2 glasses of champagne, and now that's too many glasses of champagne for me. But 2 glass champagne kitchen person loves the idea of another glass of champagne. You can't talk her out of more champagne. And that's the danger of 2 glasses of champagne. And so 2 glasses of champagne quickly turned to unknown number of glasses of champagne and a very hazy recollection of the rest of the night, to which I apologize. At one point um I left the wedding and went to our hotel, which is at a different hotel, and ended up just going to sleep in the bed while the bride was getting vitamin D shots and a IV infusion so that they could keep partying longer. That's how crazy that party was. Anyways, okay, guys. Yeah, because I'm not good at drinking, and I admit that I don't drink, and I don't drink well at all. There was at that wedding, on the food table, they had a bowl full of just claws, like crab claws, already like deshelled. My God, it was nuts. I don't even think I ate any. I was so drunk and stupid, mad at myself. Got a better head on my shoulders now. Not even close. I would drive. I will rent a car and drive to a state that's legal and buy this time. My brain didn't recognize how, like, anyways, I have many many regrets of of that trip, but mainly that. Um yeah, that was funny. Fun trip though. Very, very fun trip. We went to lots of cool restaurants. I um Specifically, we went to like one restaurant on the river where they're supposed to make fun of you, and it was not as expected. Anyways, my clothes fall off. Here's the thing though, Autumn. Like, you laugh about that, but the reality is alcohol is the main ingredient in bad decisions for a lot of people, and it gives people this sort of right of way to not be responsible for their decisions. And if that's what you need in order to make or do the things that you would like to do, then maybe that's a good vessel. But I do most of the things I've ever done as sober as I'll ever be. And I don't have any regrets of that. I think it's pretty proud. Like, even crazy stuff I've done without being drunk. And I think that drinking is fun for some people, but for me, like, what really worries me is when people don't like that I'm not drinking. Like, me not drinking shouldn't worry people. I just get funnier as everyone else gets drunker. And I can drive still at the end. So we go to. Anyways. Um I also don't like um well, that trip to Chicago. Oh, here's another funny part about that trip to Chicago. Um the necklace that I wear around my neck, sometimes the collar has the ability to lock on, and the key is separate. And I wear it quite often for like long periods of time and don't even really realize it. And when we were traveling, I was wearing it, and we checked our bags, and we got through the first sort of area and we were just about to go through security. And my boyfriend realized that we had checked the key and the necklace isn't coming off. And it's definitely going to set off in the metal detector. And we're going to have some questions to answer about it. And it was quite a funny experience. He said he snapped a picture of me just before we were about to walk through the security. And and to explain to them about the collar around my neck that won't come off as hard as they'll pull. Anyways, so it was a fun trip. I am working on getting a Discord set up on Time Served one. I already have a little spot set up on looking at legal stuff's Discord right now. It's called Kitchen Court Cases Corner or something like that. And I will link it next time, guys. But I appreciate you all being here. I know it's been a different kind of evening, but I love spending time with y'all and hanging out. And I will be back tomorrow with something. I'm not sure what yet, but I'll figure it out. I love you all. Thank you so much for your generosity, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. I know. Am I feeling okay? I'm off to bed now, Donna. Don't you worry. I love y'all. I'll talk to you later. Have a great night. Bye.